download it.
Good morning, Chair. I'm Mutai, Chief Officer, Economic Planning.
Good morning, Chair. I'm CPA Kipkemai Alfred, Accountant.
We are, that marks the end.
Okay, you're welcome to the Senate. We will proceed with the next order, which will be administration of oath and tabling of documents.
I, Dr. Erick Mutai, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall keep before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Okay. Thank you. So, thank you. Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. Management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General and County Executive of Kericho for the year 2024-2025. Number 2, management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive of Kericho for the financial year 2024-2025. And lastly, management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive of Kericho for the financial year 2024-2025.
Auditor General, can you confirm that the responses that have been tabled, you've gone through them?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the responses from Kericho County Executive have been reviewed and we are ready to proceed. Thank you.
Clerk, are we good to go?
Yes, Chair, I can confirm that we received the responses in time as prescribed in our letter to Kericho County.
So because today is a day when the Senate is resuming its sittings from the short recess, we have very limited time. We will go straight to the main business for today. As a background, we had taken a short break after tabling the reports of this committee before the Senate on the 27th of March this year. We also took some time off for the recess to attend to other parliamentary duties and other committee activities. This next round of hearings that this committee is holding are implementation follow-up hearings. The Senate has already taken a position on the report of the Auditor General. And now what we expect the governors to do is to tell us the measures that they're taking to close the gaps identified by the Auditor General. In the case of Kericho County, we sent invitations to the governor of Kericho County to appear before this committee several times, and those invitations were not honored. We eventually issued summons to compel the appearance of the governor of Kericho before this committee on the 30th of March this year. The governor of Kericho did not honor that summons. As a result, the House resolved that in line with the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, a fine of 500,000 Kenya shillings be imposed on the governor for the contempt and for missing the appearance in line with the summons that were issued. Secondly, the House also took the position that the report of the Auditor General on Kericho would be adopted as is. So it is the view of the Senate that what the Auditor General raised in the 51 paragraphs in this report are true because they were undefended. And then the House also resolved that the governor of Kericho would appear before this committee within 30 days to explain the action taken to close the serious issues raised by the Auditor General, and that's why we are here. So for us to get into the report of the Auditor General and the action that you are taking, we need to confirm with the clerk of the Senate whether the fine has been paid.
Chairman, we can confirm that the governor paid the fine of 500,000 to the Senate.
If that is the case, then that partially purges the contempt. I think whatever is remaining is now for us to get into this report and the governor to explain measures he's taking to close the issues that were raised by the Auditor General. I think then let's not belabor the matter. Let's go to the report of the Auditor General.
Just follow up, Chair, to the governor. Now that he has accepted culpability by pay, does he undertake that he is willing to appear before the Senate from now going henceforth? Because even when you are pronouncing a consequence or a judgment against somebody, it must be a lesson. So does he agree to appear before the Senate, not only on PAC but any other committee, so that he can show goodwill to future engagement? Thank you, Chair.
Governor, I want your comment to be extremely brief because your appearance is not a favor to the Senate. It is a constitutional responsibility. In fact, perhaps you should not ask that question. We expect the governor to appear before the Senate. I think let's leave it at that. It's not his choice. It's not something he decides whether he wants to do or not. It is a constitutional responsibility. And when he took the oath of office, he swore to protect and defend the Constitution. So I think let's let that matter lie.
But Chair,
I agree.
Is here, and so I don't want us to debate that matter. I direct that we go to the report of the Auditor General. Auditor General, could you tell us what the opinion was with regards to the County Executive of Kericho?
Thank you, Chair. The opinion on the County Executive of Kericho was adverse.
What does that mean?
Adverse means that the financial statements did not agree with the accounting records kept by the County Executive.
Please try to speak English so that the people of Kericho can understand what you're saying. Are you saying that there was massive theft, there were massive irregularities? What do you mean?
Thank you, Chair. The report of the Auditor General is in three parts. One being the report on the financial statements. Two is on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. And the third one is on effectiveness of internal controls, risk management, and governance. So among those reports, the opinion is given on the report on financial statements. And what this means is that the financial statements contain inaccuracies which affect the opinion of a national decision maker.
Just to help us understand, who prepares, the person who prepares a financial statement, do they have a professional responsibility?
They do.
So when someone with a professional responsibility prepares financial statements that the Auditor General finds to be adverse, is that person fit to continue being a member of that profession? Auditor, you are the expert on the subject matter. We
Thank you,
take your
Chair.
opinion.
There's a regulation which gave responsibility to the makers of financial statements, responsibility over their accuracy, and there's professional discipline which usually meted on if they fail to comply with the professional.
You have not advised us. You are our advisor. Yeah,
It's not you, Chair.
Senator Wambua?
Chair, through you, I would request the Auditor General to speak to us and speak to the people of Kericho in plain language. Now, when you say you've issued an adverse opinion on the county government of Kericho, are you saying that that's the worst rating that any institution being audited by the OAG can get? Or is it a fair performance? Is it an excellent performance? Speak to us in plain language.
Chair, I want to put a right on the concerns raised by my brother Senator. Now, Kericho is not just another county. Kericho hosts one of the senior politicians in this country, Majority Leader. You know, we are here sitting on behalf of Kericho people who are the taxpayers and so forth and so forth. You know, anti-virus is a terminology which may not be understood by the commoners, I mean the people who consume services in Kericho. So what is the rating? Anti-virus is what is it? Has the governor performed so well? Is it above average? Is it excellent? I mean, what is anti-virus? I mean, what is the rating in the county? I mean, the governor in terms of expenditure. I mean, has he been doing extremely well? What do you want people of Kericho to consume? You know, Kericho is not just another county. Oh, every other county is equal to all those standards. But of course, Kericho is not just a county, you know. What is Antiva's opinion? So that person who is
Okay, so,
speaking tea.
Can I
so that
write on
you
it
take
so
the
that
views from
you
the
take all of it?
senators?
I think just grade. I agree with my colleagues that you need grade because this is the only county in this financial year that had adverse opinion. And in my understanding of accounting, it means failure. So can you grade? Is it an A? Is it F, a failure? And the Senate Majority Leader knows that there is a song called Failure. So is it that is it? I don't know the name of the person.
Okay.
But the point is, Chair, can you give us the grading for the people of Kericho to understand that when you get adverse, you are failed?
Auditor General, you can even use the CBC, or it's called CBE rubrics. There's exceeding expectation, meeting expectation, below expectation. I think the governor must have been in the academia, so he might relate with that better.
Chairman,
Thank you, Chair.
Before my colleagues comes in, please allow me to say that an adverse opinion is a formal or a professional judgment issued by the independent auditor stating that an entity's financial statements are materially misstated, they are misleading, and do not accurately reflect the entity's financial condition in accordance with standards that we use as auditors to audit that entity.
I think that's clear. Anyone who understands English understands what Patrick has said. Now, Governor, I think we have made a commitment as a Senate and this committee to be extremely factual and to deal only with the matters that are in the report of the Auditor General. And as a chair, I have the responsibility to ensure that that happens. But we cannot run away from a conversation on how come one county out of 47 had an adverse opinion. Are there certain conditions that were there that did not affect the other counties? Because for us to judge and condemn you, we probably want to understand the environment and background, if any. Governor?
First, Chair, the discussion is not on the governor, but on the financial statements. That is what should be clear. We're not discussing the governor if he's doing well. We are discussing financial statements. And we commit to uphold that dignity and integrity throughout the session. Number two, Chair, as the auditor explained, yes, the report and the opinion of the auditor from these statements is adverse. And the purpose of us coming here is to see whether there are matters that has been resolved or not. And that is the reason why we are before this committee today. So that the people of Kericho would understand, as many members have rightly put so, whether the matters that has been raised, the questions are resolved or not. Because at the time of audit, there could be documents that have not been submitted. Others may have come in late. And that is why we are here, because it's a quasi-court to be able to prosecute our matters. And so, Chair, I don't want to say beyond there, but I just want to tell you we are here before you to prosecute the matters on the report with the team of accountants.
Now, Governor, we would like you and your team to leave Nairobi feeling like the Senate has given you some recommendations that are useful to your organization. And I want you to relax, because we have
Chair,
agreed.
Chair, I'm trying to relax, but you see the tone, you know, when we say, is the governor failing or is the governor doing best, we are discussing the governor but not substantive matters on the report.
Allow me to give directions, Governor. your journey to Nairobi, you must take home something out of our observation as a Senate. You have not addressed the specific question that we are trying to raise, but we want to show you where the problem is. There is a problem of leadership. And I'm not talking about the governor. In this report, it was a transition year. We are moving from cash to accrual. There were people who had responsibilities to do a few things, setting up a transition committee, setting up a steering team project. It was not done. And I'm not imagining things, it is in this report. And we cannot run away from it. So we must address that leadership failure. And Auditor General, because that is where everything stands or falls for Kericho. There was inadequate leadership in that transition from cash to accrual. As a result, we have got 55 paragraphs of unexplained expenditure, irregular expenditure. So let's first slay that dragon. And Auditor, I want you to read. You're finding...
Chair, there's something before you move on. I just want to appreciate the Senate. There are recommendations that have come from the various committees of Senate that have helped counties. I want to mention the committee of Osotsi. We're here. We've been here like 2-3 years. They made recommendations. One of them was about our utility called Kewasco. I was here last week celebrating what Senate has done. From the recommendations today, we have a committee which is profit-making after we implement. And that is why we are committed to appear before Senate committee, because we know the results that come out of it help counties to move forward.
Very
and
good.
Chair, we're
Very
here
good.
for that purpose.
That's exactly what we want to do today. So, Auditor General, what was your, because this is in the report, non-compliance with guidelines on transition from cash to accrual accounting. If we deal with this matter, it will kill 4 or 5 other issues in this report. Just read it out.
Thank you, Chair. There is report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources, failure to submit financial statements. Sorry. That is question number 2, non-compliance with guidelines on transition from cash to accrual accounting. Review of the transition process revealed that the county steering committee to oversee the planning, execution, and monitoring of the transition process had not been established. This was contrary to guideline 1.53 on transition from cash to accrual accounting by ministries, departments, agencies, and county governments in Kenya, 2024, and in paragraph 2.11 of the National Treasury and Economic Planning Circular reference number 03/25 dated 14th April 2025, which directed that an entity steering committee made up of officers from relevant departments be established by the accounting officer. Further, a project manager responsible for leading and coordinating all activities related to the transition process had not been appointed, contrary to paragraph 2.1.2 of the guideline that directed the accounting officers to appoint project manager from among the service staff to oversee the transition from cash to accrual accounting project. In the circumstances, lack of leadership and coordination may delay the transition process and result in non-achievement of key milestones and deliverables outlined in the transition roadmap.
So those are not the words of the Senate. Those are the words of the Auditor General. That lack of leadership and coordination, that's the Auditor General. So it's not from our mouths, it's from this report. And that, if that is not the reason why you got an adverse opinion, then we'll try to find out whether there are other reasons. But we feel that that was the beginning of the problems. Now, can we understand whether this committee was ever established, whether a project manager was ever appointed, and also Auditor General, in the organization, who had this responsibility? Was it the governor? Was it the chief officer? Was it the CEC Finance? responsibility to establish the transition committee and to appoint a project manager.
Yes, Chair.
Governor? Resulting into an adverse opinion.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Your assessment is very fair. Yes, indeed. At the point of the audit, we had appointed the committee, but they are not taken fully off and probably able to have these problems we have today of financial statements. Because largely when you look into most of the audit queries we have here are on financial statements. However, right now we have the committee in space, which has been appointed by the respective CC for finance.
Could we have the CC go on record? Because that's a responsibility that is specific to him.
Yes, Chair. I did the appointment and the committee is in place.
On what dates?
Chair, this is a transition. You know, when we are moving to accrual,
Go on record.
Your mic is off.
my mic is on. I don't know why. Yes, it's on. Chair, I'm saying I did appointed the committee to look into the transitioning. From
Is there some evidence to that effect that was shared with the Auditor General?
There's a next one, yes, in the response.
When was the appointment done?
We did it in July.
In July, after the closure of the financial
year. Yeah.
Auditor, was it supposed to have been done after the closure? Because I thought they would oversee the preparation of financial statements.
Thank you, Chair. The appointment was to be appointed as early as April, May of the financial year.
You have seen evidence that they have set up the committee.
Yeah, the appointment letters have been attached in the responses which were done in the month of July 2025 after the closure of the financial year.
Who was designated as a project manager? CC.
The CEO of Finance, George Kerr, formally.
So the long and short of it is that the responsibility for the mess, the responsibility for the adverse opinion, lies squarely in the hands of the CC Finance and the Chief Officer Finance, isn't it? If you failed to do what was required in the circular.
I did it, Chair.
No, you did it outside the timelines.
I'm sorry for doing it outside the timelines.
Well, it's already an adverse opinion.
We knew.
So you can't apologize for an audit report that has already been adopted.
You see, in this transition to accrual, we have been given 3 years to transition. So it's not. This was the first year.
So there are 46 other counties that did the right thing.
But Chair,
Kericho did not.
Chair, not even that. Even within that 3 years, I thought, Honorable Rob.
Yes.
I thought even within those 3 years, there are timelines for certain things to be done.
Very well.
Yeah, so the appointment of the transition committee should not have waited until the 31st day of July. Should have been done earlier.
I accept that.
Chair, maybe let's start from the basic. Waziri Rob, I thought, did you attend the training on this issue of transition from cash to accrual accounting?
The accountants
by the Ministry of, is it National Treasury and also Public Accountants Standards? And were you able to attend? And I thought the appointment should have been the first instance. And you should be answering this knowing that you are a former Vice Chair of County Public Accounts in the National Assembly. So you have a responsibility.
I didn't attend, but the Chief Officer attended and the accountants.
So the Chief Officer failed to inform you to do what you should do?
I should not say he failed, but I'm sorry for what happened.
Well, Chair,
you know, Chair, apology has never been, we only apologize in charge, not in accounting.
No,
because a mistake has happened.
Yes, you own up.
You own up, but you didn't do your job. If everybody was to apologize, then
you see, in the PFM space, you don't end at an apology. There has to be administrative action, and it has to be demonstrated. Someone should be rebuked. Someone should be retrained. Someone should be warned for not doing the right thing. So we don't consume apologies. There has to be some evidence that administrative action was taken. Now, honourable members, we started this just to demonstrate where the problem lies.
Chair,
in Kericho
Chair, kindly
County.
before you conclude on that, you know, some of us are also learning a lot of things from these appearances. And I remember the Treasury took your committee chair for training on this matter, and we spent 2-3 days. Kanata was very hard on us, trying to make us understand how this system works. Chair, is it discretionary that the top officers in county governments can opt out of this kind of training? Is it a choice that they make, or they are supposed to go through this? Because when Waziri says he did not attend, but the chief officer attended, then what does that mean? That you want to provide leadership from the top, but without full information? How is that? How is that tailored, Chair? Is that an option that they have, or is it mandatory?
That entirely depends on the invitation for the training. If they say specific officers, especially the accountants, to attend, because this is purely matters accounting, and then the accountants will do.
Now, we then will be recommending a lot of administrative action on the officers who are supposed to have done things and they failed to do so, and Kericho ended up with an adverse opinion. Having established part of the problem, let's go back now to the report. Let's go back to the beginning of the report, and you will see how what we have just discussed relates to most of the paragraphs in the report. Auditor General, your first basis for adverse opinion was?
Unsupported opening balances.
And in that observation, you have also cited the lack of a Transition Project Coordination Committee report.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, Governor, if you had the Project Transition Committee, then even this matter perhaps would not have a reason. However, it brings up very huge variances in figures. The Auditor General has cited a variance of 15.2 billion. 15.2 billion variance. How can you have a variance of 15.2 billion in a financial statement prepared by a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya? Because a variance means that something cannot be explained. Between the debit and credit, there's a difference of 15 billion Kenya shillings. How is that possible in Kericho with a 7 billion budget? Which qualified accountant can prepare financial statements with a variance of 15 billion, money that Kericho cannot see in a year? Governor, does it bother you?
Yeah, it does, Chair, because honestly, when you talk about 15 billion, that's a whole budget of like 3 years of Kericho County, not just 1 year. Because we receive like 7 billion, 7, that's almost like 3. And so, what the accountants did informed me was that they, after the draft, they worked on the financial statements, but then it was already too late because the audit had closed at that time.
No, let's call a spade. And we have been hard on governors because they are CEOs. But we must also pronounce ourselves on the officers who hide behind the governor to do things that are not useful to the county. The financial statement with a variance of 15.2 billion has been signed by 2 CPAs, CPA Dr. George Kirer and CPA Fernandez Korir. And their ISPAC numbers are presented there. They are not prepared by a T-plucker. They are prepared by professionals. And you have a 15 billion variance. You go through the process, including exit meeting, and that variance is not addressed.
Since I've explained what they did told me. One of them, CPA George Kirer, is no longer working for the county government of Kericho. But Fernandez, Director of Finance, can explain because he's here with us.
Fernandez is one of the signatories?
Yes.
Okay, where is Fernandez? Because we are about to make recommendations to ISPAC with regards to his professional competence. So let us not judge him unheard.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. This variance of 15 billion arose, and we've captured this in the committee, the Transition Committee report, that it relates to, over time, the county government has been doing acquisition of assets since inception. This was a transition period where we are transitioning from cash. Initially, this amount was never disclosed, and this informed why the government of Kenya transitioned from cash basis so that assets and liabilities are visible. The 15 billion relates to acquisitions which were done by the county government over the years since since the inception of devolution. However, since we were required to transition over a 3-year period, year one, phase one, it wasn't mandatory for us to disclose the PPE. However, that is property, plant and equipment. However, we were required to identify by way of assets so that it informs how
I think you are describing the trees. We want a description of the forest. The Auditor General says the 15.2 billion was an unexplained variance. Unexplained. I mean, you are not supposed to explain it to the senators. You are supposed to explain it to the satisfaction of the auditors who are your professional colleagues. This is not that opportunity. In fact, this is, right now, you should just be telling us why we should not refer you to ISPAC for disciplinary action and why we should not declare you unfit to hold that office. That explanation you are giving ought to have been given to the Auditor General so that it does not form part of this report. Auditor General, did the gentleman explain, say those things that he's saying?
No, Chair.
And whatever he's saying, does it satisfy you as a professional?
Okay, thank you, Chair. One of the reasons we have this variance again is because they failed to have that committee, which should have advised them that they were not so supposed to report on PPEs. The transition, if they took the phase transition, they should have not reported on the property, plant, and equipment. But now that they reported it, the variances arose.
So, because when you say unexplained variance of 15.2 billion, the layman would think that that unexplained variance is theft.
These are just the
numbers.
As you've correctly said, is the accountant, the preparer of the financial statements.
The preparer of the financial statements. So we will make appropriate recommendations on the competence and suitability to hold public office on the part of those preparers.
I'm happy I heard the governor saying that he has benefited from committees of the Senate. And there's an opportunity here, Governor, to also benefit again. You know, to the person in Kericho, when they see a variance of 15 billion, as the chair has alluded, it's money that has been stolen. That's what they think. And they are right to think that way. You see, the person, Governor, and initially I saw you are very annoyed, now you are not. You know, the person that you should be really be very annoyed with is a person who occasions such a thing. Because once it's out there, you may not have the opportunity to talk to every person in Kericho and explain to them, you know, this money is just about accounting, it's not money being lost. Once the word is out there, to control it becomes a problem. So you should be very annoyed with the people who occasion certain things. Secondly, Chair, I'm wondering, you know, now we are dealing with more or less implementation status of our recommendations. So instead of your man in charge of accounts telling us a lot of stories, he should be telling us what steps have been taken from the time we made our recommendations to date. What has he done to make sure that this has been addressed? I think that's my submission, Chair.
I think the last part of your submission is extremely valid. We had started by looking at things broadly, but we now need to go back to the specific responses that they put on record, on the action that they are taking. So maybe we might need to, you might need, Governor, to refer us to the part where you have responded to issue number 1 on unsupported opening balances, because that is the procedural thing to do, to process your written responses. I was just trying to illustrate to you where your problems lie, and maybe the reasons why you may have gotten an adverse opinion. And I hope you have started seeing it clearly. So where is your response to issue number 1?
Chairman, I can read through the response.
Honorable members, do you have it? Unsupported
Opening balances in volume number 1.
opening balances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, honorable members, do we take note of the response? Because I can see it's a full page. And then if there's any query, we can question. Because if he reads his response to all the matters, we will not be able to cover much ground by 2:30.
I will get it, Chair.
Yeah. So Governor, having glanced through your response, your actions are not smart on this matter. They are not very specific. They are not measurable, but most importantly, they're not time-bound. If you go to your last paragraph, where you are requesting the committee to do something, can you just read it?
We therefore request the Honorable Committee to note that the variance arose from assets and liabilities that were still under verification and validation during the audit period, and not from any loss, omission, or reason of county assets. The exercise is ongoing and will be concluded to facilitate complete and accurate reporting in subsequent financial statements.
So the time, what is the timing for your action? Auditor General, this is corrected in the next financial statements, or it can be corrected midway.
Thank you. And inaccuracies in the Auditor General's report can only be corrected as a prior year adjustment in the subsequent financial year.
So we can take that as an action that needs to be taken.
Yes. Chair.
However, we will also make recommendations on administrative action on the officers who held professional responsibility on this matter. And perhaps we'll also give you timelines for that administrative action, maybe 30, 60 days, and then you'll come back to confirm that that action was taken.
Okay.
Honorable members, any other question on the response here? We can proceed to the next matter.
Oh, Chair, can the Governor just confirm that the committee is already in place?
Yeah, Honorable
and
Chair.
Things are happening.
Thank you. Through the Chair, yes, I can confirm with Honorable Senator that the committee is in place, and we are beginning next week. There's an entry for the audit, and all these things will be corrected.
Okay, so we can then proceed to inaccuracy of use of goods and services. Auditor General, describe your finding, which the House adopted.
Thank you, Chair. The inaccuracy of use of goods and services. The statement of financial performance and as disclosed in note 10, the financial statements reflects use of goods and services amounting to 2,171,715,000. However, the amount includes various expenditure items totaling 174,583,661, which differs with the supporting general ledgers that amounts totaling 172,521,661, resulting in an experienced variance of 2,062,000 as shown below. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was the response?
Acknowledges the audit observation and clarifies that the variance of Kenya shillings 2,062 arose from misclassifications. The anomaly was rectified through the appropriate journal entries. The relevant ledgers updated and journals are provided in Annex 2.
Auditor General, have you scrutinized Annex 2 and does it respond to the variances?
Chair, as Ari said, these corrections cannot be made here. It can only be done in the subsequent year.
Okay.
Yes.
Will only reflect when you close the year.
Thank you, Chair.
So we keep that in view and direct recommendations on administrative action, because again, this seems to be things that there seems to be a very laid-back attitude in terms of financial reporting in the county. Million. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Inaccuracy of employee costs. The statement of financial performance reflects employee costs amounting to 3,308,084,170, which does not agree with Note 9 of the financial statements that reflect an amount of 3,307,953,221, resulting in an explained variance of 130,949. Further, the amount reported in the statement of financial performance differs, with payroll and supporting schedules for employee costs totaling 3,335,801,370, resulting in an explained variance of 52,282,800. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Yeah, Honorable Chairman, management acknowledges the auditor's observation in relation to the variance. The statement, I'm just trying to pick out this one. This is, oh yeah, management acknowledges the auditor's observation in relation to the variance of Kenya shillings 130,949. This was a posting error in the notes to the financial statements. However, the entry in Note 9 will be corrected in the subsequent financial statements. Further, the management acknowledges the auditor's observation on variance of Kenya shillings 52,282,800. This was paid outside payroll, and it relates to payment of stipends to 1,642 community health promoter CIP for the year under review. Attached is the list of CIPs and payment vouchers for verification as Annex 3.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. The inaccuracies has also not been addressed, and maybe in future, maybe the county should ensure that all these allowances are paid through the payroll. Thank you.
Governor, this explanation you're giving contradicts issue number 17 in this report, because you have a finding on unsupported stipend to community health practitioners. And the amounts are completely different, 87 million, 33 million, 54 million. Maybe we need to pause a bit and find out how you are paying your CHPs and tie that response to the other. Auditor, can you read your other finding on CHPs?
Number 17. Question number?
It was 17 in the original certificate.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported management health team and community health partners stipend account expenditure. The statement of financial performance reflects total expenses amounting to 6,163,967,157. The amount includes 54,281,000 account totaling 87,821,275, which was not supported with expenditure returns and list of beneficiaries. Thank you, Chair.
Now, because we want to tie these two,
Well, Chairman, the management has noted the audit observation. The management needs to clarify that the total amount to Kericho County Health Management Team, HSSF and CIB stipend account is Kenya shillings 54,281,275, comprising of Kenya shillings 52,282,800 for CHB stipend and Kenya shillings 25 for user fee for new dispensaries and not 87,821,275 as observed by the auditor. Attached in Annex 17 is the expenditure returns, bank statements, and the list of beneficiaries. Finally, the amount of Kenya shillings 87,821,275 as observed by the auditor is the sum total of Kenya shillings 3,055,40,000 and 54,281,275.
So now we are seeing the 52.2 million appearing in both queries.
Yes, yes.
Auditor General, so we have not even gone to the list of beneficiaries, because that was a key issue in your paragraph 17. But let's just tie the numbers. How much was supposed to have been paid to CHPs? Was it the 52 plus? Was it 52 million, 52.2 million, or should it have been 87 million?
Chair, from the records we reviewed, the CHPs were paid 33 this was reviewed in IFMIS, but it could not be traced in the financial statements. Thank you, Chair.
Through Annex 3. What is in Annex 3? Because there's a list now of the beneficiaries. Unless Senator Cheruiyot can read that, I don't know. It's you're a young man. Maybe he's able
But
to.
20 pages of extremely small print.
Small little, but you can't even see efficient. Or being efficient.
But Chair, even as we review and look at the responses, Governor, we had to really answer to these audit queries during the time of audit. Why didn't we do that? Because this matter would not have been escalated to this level.
Yep.
Your officers were there, seeing what was supposed to be paid to who during the time of audit. What happened?
Honorable Chair, maybe I'll ask the Director of Finance to respond, but before even asking to respond, Chair, I must also say that in another space, Kericho County is one of the few counties that are paying their stipends on time for CHPs. They're not staying for 6 months, but every month they are receiving their 2,500, which I think is the flip side, which is good. But now let me ask the Director of Finance to respond.
And that's why you should avoid an audit query on the subject.
Yeah,
it makes people start thinking that you are treating them badly.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Let me ask the Director of Finance to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It is true, Kericho County, we paid 52 million relating to stipend for CHP workers. In Annex 3, we've attached the supporting payment vouchers, for one for 33 million and one for 18,742,000, totaling the 52 million, which you've disclosed there, and which were not processed in the integrated payroll management system. The CHPs were paid outside the integrated payroll management system.
That is not the question. The question is, they were paid outside IFMIS and the lists were there. why were they not given for verification during the time of audit, contrary to section 62 of Public Audit Act?
Yeah, remember we are not doing the audit today. The audit was done. There was an opportunity before 30th of March to respond. That opportunity was not utilized. So right now, we are taking it that what the Auditor General has said is true.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This query arose at the draft management draft report level. It was not in the management letter, and that is a period when the auditors were still on the ground. And when it appeared at the draft stage, we responded and attached this supporting documentation. However, these responses were late and they were not considered, and that is why even it's affected the report and it gave us that.
Everything you have said collapses on the last statement that they were late. You said that these responses were late and were not considered, isn't it? Because the Auditor General also has constitutional timelines. Auditor General, am I saying something that is useful, or because you are saying all those things, then you are saying that they were late?
I think the courts gave direction on when the Auditor General should report on the financial statements, which is 31st of December of every year. So
was introduced in 2023 through the launch by His Excellency the President. And the county signed agreement between there was an agreement between the counties and the national government, where the county government was supposed to open a special purpose account, specifically for CIPs. So when the money is processed from IFMIS, we process the CHP stipends into a special purpose account. From the special purpose account, we did not see the need to open another account for paying the salaries. So we used an existing account called the CHMD account. In that CHMD account, as CPA Fernandez have said, we processed 52 million into that account. The balance of 1.9 million is nothing related to the CIPs, but these are monies that we transfer to new dispensaries who do not have the accounts. Remember, in Kericho County, we have opened around 16 new dispensaries. So we use the same account to pay the dispensaries, that is salaries that are used for watchman and maybe a cleaner. So the actual amount for CIPs is 52 million. As indicated in the financial statement. The other 1.9 is we only use the same account to process the support we give to the level 2 facilities, the new facilities.
He's asking for justification for late submission of the documents for.
That seems to be the problem.
Yes.
The story, you can understand it, but that ought to have been done at an earlier stage, so that you don't have two related audit queries.
If you just give me that account, Chair.
You can do that, and then you can also tell us which can help us, because you're the people on the ground. Is it viable to pay CHPs through the system where everyone else is paid? Is it practical?
Maybe, Chair, before CEO responds to Chair Erick, through you, Chair, my honest observation, number one, is that the conditional grants that come to the county governments, there is a process. There's a county public service board that employ all the staff of county governments, which is an independent board. In this matter, the CHPs are not employed through the county public service board. To that extent, it is not only Kericho, but it poses then in the default structures how then are these CIPs supposed to be handled. In my honest view, then going forward is a situation where we'll have CIPs across the country processed through the public service board, and we have national government. Instead of the national government sent 2,500. The county government sent 2,500. So sometimes they have no personal numbers.
Chair, just on a point of order. we don't have a problem in the entire process. My only concern is he has put it very well, Governor, that it's a conditional allocation. And your CEO had said there's a special purpose account. We just want to see where the money is. On the other aspects, he can raise it at the tail end when he's making observations on engagement between the national and county government.
I think we were giving the officer time to find that account, but I'd ask that supplementary question because if it's here as an audit query, then for us to agree with the Auditor General, it would mean that we direct that CHPs be paid through IPPD. And that's the question I was asking, is it practical if half their money is national, half the money is county? So I think that's what you're explaining. So in your view, it is not...
Unless they are processed through the body that employs, which is the County Public Service Board. That is where they can have contract letters, employment letters, stating their terms of services, and then they can be given their IDP numbers.
Meaning we'll always have this query coming up.
Yes.
And you see, Chair, I like the thinking that this is not specific to Kericho. It's part of the matter that as Senate, we may want to apply ourselves to leader. This thing about government releasing a portion of pay to a stipend to employees in counties who have no payroll numbers, and then the county also giving a portion of their money to employees, would it be easier to the entire amount to counties as an additional allocation to counties?
Correct.
Yeah? Then the counties take the responsibility of paying the employees. Now they can put them through the public service board or whatever they want to do with that. That would be smart, that would be neater.
I think that's neater because under the Constitution there is conditional additional allocation. I think as a Senate, I think this is an issue that the governor has raised that we need to consider. We use it additional allocation so that it is easy to manage these CHP employees, so that we don't have a case where national government has released the half of the amount, maybe because of delay of exchequer to the counties, they are yet to release. So I think this is something we can take it home.
The legal counsel is advising that they are not employees of counties. So whose employee are they?
That is why I thought, because we are in the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, some of the matters that comes out also shapes future conversations.
So
as it is now,
employees of national government.
As it is, who owns the CHBs? Who owns them? Who accounts to? Who supervises them? Because they're not employees of the county, neither are they employees of the national government. In structures of government, there's a supervisor that somebody has to report to. But in this context, then, who do CHBs respond to? Who do they, when they wake up in the morning, who keeps an account of them? It's simple.
I think, Chair, this is quite clear because then they are in level 1, isn't it? So there are nurses who are superintending against them. And I don't think there's a problem because they're already working. They were already working before they were paid stipends. Now they are being paid. I think what we need to do is if you have a special purpose account, then you need to know how that money is dispensed. We have Jamii money that is being dispensed by the national government. How do they do it? Every time they're improving on it. I think what we need to do, we need to have that account available to the auditors. And then, is it that we have a payment voucher to the Chief of South Health, who then pays in cash or delivers it through M-Pesa? We need to know how that money leaves the CRF account and then to the special purpose account, and then how it is dispersed then to the individual CHPs. If it is flawless, then it can be audited and the money can be accounted for. To me, that is the most important thing.
And as we debate this, let's be very clear that we are not belittling the role of CHPs.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, let that not be the conclusion.
Correct.
They are very, very useful. We just need to manage them better. Senator Cherargei.
Chair, for some of us who have aspirations to be governors in near future, I agree because this is a danger of clawback clauses of the devolution. And I think these are conversation as Council of Governors. These are issues we should sit as a Senate and COG, because is it a secondment? I agree with the governor when he says, where would they account for if there are disciplinary action? Who should take up? Is it PS or Luga? Is it CSR and Duale, or is it governors? So, Chair, to give this live conversation, I think we cannot leave it there, but we need to call upon maybe the CS of Health and PS of Health to appear before this committee and shed light, because we know the critical role that CHPs have, because they go houses to houses, they assist in health provision. We are talking about Article 43 on the right to health, which is very critical, and we support CHPs, but we must have a clear line. And my proposal is simple, before I yield back to the incoming governor of Kitui, is very simple. Can we include to the additional allocation in our DORA? Then when we pass the money, we give it to the counties. Then the counties run through County Public Service Board, and they are able to supervise and ensure that also we have what we call performance of those CHP, so that when they say they visit 10 houses, they have taken pressure of particular people, they have dispensed drugs to individuals. There is that accountability mechanism. So I agree with the governor that he should talk to the COG, that apart from engaging themselves in some unnecessary dramas, this is the conversation we should be having. I yield back.
I think majority leaders whispered to me that this comes back to us. Majority leader, you want to go on record on that?
No, I was just reminding you that in this year's BPS, this matter, our Committee on Budget and Finance actually looked into it. The only trouble I have is that I have not seen the report on DORA, the one that's before the House, because we had agreed that we process it this way. I remember raising it on the floor. But nonetheless, because we have mediation on DORA about to begin this afternoon, I believe that's the way we should proceed.
Yeah, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know that matter, why it is very important. You know, the COG will tell you that they cannot Secondly, it brings the challenge of the government minimum wage for employees. 14,000 levels of government. I think it is for us as a Senate, and I'm happy that then the majority leader says it's a conversation we can have in the mediation for DORA, that then we do what we must do. We all agree that the CHPs play a very critical role in the primary health care in every county. So let us then compensate them properly.
Correct.
Even if it means for them to be included in the list of employees under the public service boards, then let a budget be found for them to perform that function.
Now, Senator Wambo is already speaking like a governor. He's answering the Senate on some issues.
But I want to go on record, Chair, and this is important.
Also,
I will be against. I will be against combining the stipend from the national government and with the one from the county government. Most counties have a lot of backlog, 10 months, 15 months, even some 20 months, in terms of payment of this stipend. So let the national government pay their part, the county government pay their part. There's a lot of lethargy in the county government in terms of payment. So let's just have them, national government pay, county government pay. We should not combine.
So this is a policy conversation, and I think when we get your perspective as governors, it helps us to be more critical when we are processing laws. So this is a conversation that will be ongoing. There's an officer who was tasked just to identify the account, that's SPA, in your financial statements. I think that's fairly straightforward. Just do that so that we can move on.
Chariot, please look your mind, and you'll excuse me on this. You know, I've just remembered that at some point, the national government send salaries for staff under the National Library Services to counties. Yes, which is devolved. But they said, okay, it's responsibility to pay the National Library Service staff, but we will give that the money for the salaries of the National Library Service staff in counties is sent to the counties to pay. So why can't we do additional allocation for CHPs?
Correct.
And their money is sent straight to the county governments.
Then they do the
payment.
I believe leader of majority will be going to.
Just for the benefit of
House Business
insight,
Committee.
I sit as the chair of education in COG, and I want to thank the president. When libraries were devolved, we had a conversation on the same that let's collapse this money and come to the counties. And today, the library staff in the counties are earning salary just like any other employees of the county. So this matter where national government will keep 2,500 today, maybe county X for one reason or the other one, for another 2-3 months. At the end of the day, does it really help this person in terms of morale, in terms of motivation to work? For me, I believe that much as we have put on the wage bill going forward, we just need to take the bull by its own, accept that these CSPs are contributing a lot in the primary healthcare, and that they are doing very well. Today we are seeing an increase in terms of revenue, in terms of reaching out to people in the villages, and just onboard them on space and treat them just like workers of the county, get them the IPD numbers, and they will be able also to assess a decent life that the rest of the staff are getting.
I think we all know what we must do. We proceed. Officer, please, can you make our life easy? Yes. Senator Cherargei had just asked a specific question, just show us a SPA in the notes, so that specific account.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Under note number 21 on detailed analysis of the cash and cash equivalents, the last account there listed as Kericho County CHP stipend account. We disclose it as a zero balance since this is a conveyor account where money comes in and moves out immediately.
Okay, so it is the last row.
Chair,
yes.
But
Okay.
it is zero, but he has insisted there is CMT. I'm looking for the CMT one. And then in this type, when he's saying it's zero. So where do you stand? You must have a stand.
Is it because it's credited and debited?
Yes.
Fully?
No.
So I think let's
CMT,
I want us to Auditor General, maybe just advise us on that, on the basis of that response.
Okay, thank you, Chair. From the explanation from the CEO Health, he confirmed that money is transferred to Kericho Health Management Team account for onward payment to CHP. So, and from our records, 54 million was paid or transferred to this account, and then 33 million paid, which means we should have a balance of about 20 million in that bank account. So this could not be the account we are looking for.
So what should we be asking them to do? A reconciliation or certificates for that account?
It's a disclosure of this bank account. This bank account is not disclosed in the financial statement.
So we should, I want us to be very detailed on what exactly we want them to do in the next 30 days. What information should they provide us with in the next 30 days? Yep.
Because they have not disclosed, so it is negative, it's zero. So where did they put this 20 billion?
So we are not going to go with that oral. Our minds about the SPA, that it is being used for the right purpose, and that these negative balances here are not meant to hide something. So we might not frame it now, but when we are doing our report back, we will be very, very clear on what you must respond back to in 30 days, because this is an implementation engagement.
Supply chair.
Okay, so we can move a bit faster, honorable members. There was an inaccuracy of transfers to Bomet Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Fairly simple, Governor, that on one side, records indicate that you made 2 payments totaling 15 million. On the other side, records indicate that you transferred 18.4 million. So there's 3.4 million that gets lost. In whose pockets is the 3.4 million?
In the pockets of Bomet.
So, Bomet.
That is a shared water utility.
Okay.
And basically, we pay, and over time, they are bending accrued bills on the same that we pay in the next financial year. So basically, Chairman, management notes the author's observation. The reported amount of Kenya shillings 18,043,620 in the statement of financial performance relates to expenditure incurred during the year in relation to Bomet water. Out of this amount, Kenya shillings 18,483,620 payments, totaling Kenya shillings 15 million, were made on 21st August 2024 and 21st January 2025. The balance of Kenya shillings 3,483,620 represents payables outstanding at the end of the year under review, as per the attached list of payments in Annex 4.
Auditor General, does Annex 4 respond to the matter?
Thank you, Chair. The Annex Chair does not address the issue because it's dependent on the records of the company and not the county's records.
So when Governor, when you said that the 3.4 million represents payables outstanding at the end of the year under review, what does it mean? Maybe you can explain it from in a more layman language.
Ask the Director of Finance to respond to that.
Yeah, please, and make it a very brief explanation in English.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The amount which was billed for water consumption, that's from Bomet, was 18 million. That's for the financial year. The department had a budgetary allocation of 15 million, which we paid. And if you look at, we've attached a reconciliation there, Annex number 4. There was an outstanding liability of 13 million. We were billed 18 million and we paid 15. Out of that, the outstanding liability for the financial year was 3.4, and totaling 16.5 is an outstanding liability due to Bomet Water. We have the statement of account from Bomet Water, which it confirms the existence of that liability of 16.5 million.
Auditor General, again, you did the audit. We are now on implementation. Are they answering the question or they are doing their own things?
Thank you, Chair. From the explanation, we are missing that bit of the bills to support the explanation is giving.
Okay, so the justification for the 3.4, which they claim to be, what they call it, payables outstanding.
Payables outstanding.
Yeah, so officer, maybe the justification of the 3.4?
It's in the statement. It's the statement which you've attached supporting Annex 4. There is the statement of account from Bomet Water.
Auditor, have you looked at it, or we give you some time?
Invoice.
We have not seen the figure. Maybe you can specifically point it out.
Officer?
Chair, and also the invoicing of this amount of 18.4 million.
Yeah.
Maybe you can point out, because the one we see here in reconciliation is 16.5. And there was actual transfer of 15 million.
You know what the auditor is asking is, it makes sense. So you're saying there was the 3.4 outstanding payables. It's not just a matter of writing it that this was outstanding. I mean, there's a way in which you justify.
So where is the invoice?
Is that statement here?
Yes, we've attached the statement.
Where is it?
Yes.
How does it look like? Because we also have the files. You said Annex 4.
This one on Kericho Water and Sanitation Company, you buy bulk water from Bomet.
Yeah, just show us that one that justifies the 3.4 so that we move to bigger things. We have two huge pending bills of 1-point-something billion that we need to deal with.
Chair, I think there is an account attached in Annex 4 from Bomet Water and Sanitation Company, which is showing a balance. We still owe them 16,575,925.
Waziri, deal with the 3.4. Deal with the 3.4. Just show us in that statement where that 3.4 is.
Chair, as he has indicated, looking at the Annexure 4, the opening balance, what we owed Bomet was 13 million during the year when we began the year was 13,142,305. Then the expenditure for the year was 18,433,620. But we were able to pay, we only transferred 15 million. So we have a balance of 3,433,620.
Waziri, you have repeated what has already been said.
Yes.
You have not dealt with that balance, the justification of that balance, and the evidence here. What you have said is what the auditor said.
Your water is here, you can explain further. Yeah, Mutai, Engineer Mutai. Yeah.
Oh, but you guys took us to a statement. The officer said there's a statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there is a statement which was rehearsed here, which is amounting to 18.4 million.
Where is it?
Annex what was it? Annex 4.
Annex
Yes.
4 has almost 20 pages.
No, it's this one they're talking about.
The table.
The table.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one you could have prepared on Excel on your computer. What the auditor is saying, that 3.4 there at the bottom, they have not seen justification or anything to support it, to authenticate it.
Honorable Chair, in that statement, line item number 44, which shows, this is a statement which runs from July 2021 all the way up to May 2025. But the year under review was financial year 2024-2025. If you look at line number 44, May 2024, that is the cutoff of the previous financial year. And that is why we are saying there was an opening balance of 13.1 million. In that financial year, we were billed 18 million, and it can show 177,114, 11, and 6.9, totaling to 18 million. That is the bill for the year. So the 3.4 is the movement that you have the opening balance and you have what you have billed and what you've paid, the 15 million which you paid. That movement of 3.4.
I don't think we are communicating. And members, this is an implementation meeting. And I want to propose that we allow the Auditor General to examine this matter, look at the details that the officer is explaining, and we give them a date, implementation period of 14, 21, or 30 days. I think 30 days, because there are some things in this report where the governor will have to come back. So we give them a time to do the reconciliation and agree. If they do not agree, then we adopt the position of the Auditor General.
Chair,
because we can't do that audit right now.
Chair, that's okay. But I'm just wondering why the officer has a problem communicating a very simple thing to me. Because you're trying to look for 3.433 million. You'll not find it anywhere. For me, this is a pending bill. It's money that has not been paid. That's what you're supposed to be paying. You have not paid that. It's a balance from 18 million after you paid 15 million. Why is that so difficult to explain? No, but we are saying other things. You're trying to look for it. Where are you looking for it from? You can't find it in the documents.
And this
money you have not paid.
I think, members, looking at the time, let's allow the Auditor General to scrutinize this and satisfy his the question that he had asked, because I could hear the question he was asking, which is not being addressed, and
Chair,
we make it part of the 30 days.
Out of curiosity, you are giving them 14 days to do what? Do they know what they are supposed to go and do? I thought we should be clear to them. Because the OAG is asking, for example, 3.4, these bills or the pending, that amounts to this variance of 3.4. So do they know what they are going to do?
The OAG is asking for the 3.4. That gentleman is trying to explain that he can see it.
Where?
But the OAG is not seeing it. Now, we give them an opportunity to review this and advise us, because we cannot depart from the OAG's position.
Chair,
if the OAG is not seeing it, even us, we cannot see it.
Chair, we are not doing miracles here this much. You know, it's only Jesus Christ who did it 2,000 years ago. We must see this 3.4 where it is the variance.
We have not seen it. We have not seen it.
He's saying he's seeing it.
We have not seen it.
Maybe he has
and if he feels that it is justifiable, we will ask them to sit with the OAG. This is implementation in 30 days. Or in whatever duration that you are coming before this committee, this matter must be put to rest. Now let's proceed. There was an issue on NAV CDP.
Number 5.
There was an issue on NAV CDP. Again, another conditional grant. Can we quickly look at this, Auditor General? It's still outstanding.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported expenditure and the inaccurate transfer to National Agricultural Value Chain Development Project. The statement of financial performance reflects transfer to other government entities amounting to 502,651,539. The amount includes transfers to National Agricultural Value Chain Development Project amounting to 144,514,015 as disclosed in Note 11 to the financial statements. However, the amount differs with the IFMIS payment detailed amount of 89,383,098, resulting in an explaining variance of 55,130,917. Further, the project's opening bank account balance as at 1st July 2024 was 134,927,319, and that during the year the project received 144,514,015, and the closing balance was 413,304, which shows that the total expenditure for the project was 279,028,030. However, the respective expenditure returns together with the related and accountability supporting documents were not provided for audit review. Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
The Honorable Chair, the variance of Kenya shillings 55,130,17 is the difference between the expenditure for the year of Kenya shillings 144,514,015 recognized as transfers, and the amount received of Kenya shillings 89,383,098, comprised of Kenya shillings 10 million from the counterpart contribution and Kenya shillings 79,383,098 dispersed after the closure of the financial year and recognized as receivables as shown in the table below. This is details. Number 1 is a total expenditure during the year 144,514,015, and that is Annex 5A. Amount received during the year co-funding. This is our own county contribution of 10 million, which is also in Annex 5B. And then amount dispersed after the closure of financial year from the donor, that is after we closed the financial year, was 79,383,098, and it is Annex 5C. Reported variance 55,139,017. We further wish to clarify that the project expenditure of Kenya shillings 144,514,015 was concurrently audited under the State Department of Agriculture, where the project is domiciled, and a good sample of expenditure of returns for the expenditure of Kenya shillings 144,514,015 has been availed for verification.
Auditor General, starting with the numbers.
Thank you, Chair. It has been explained that the amount include an expenditure of 144,514, and it also includes 10 million transferred from the account letter. So this implies that the figure was determined from the expenditure instead of the actual transfer. So the records could not be clear. And again, on the 79 to 79 million, we have done a reconciliation of the amount of money received by the projects. That is opening balance 134 plus amount received, then minus the closing balance, so that we get the actual expenditure, which is 279. So these figures have not been reconciled. Thank you.
Now, surely, Governor, numbers must add up. The Auditor General is saying they're not adding up. I thought the problem here was the policy part, where the oversight is being done under State Department of Agriculture, and we'll come to that. But the numbers here must add up, because we are hearing bad things in counties about utilization of conditional grants. NAV CDP, before NAV CDP, we had NARIP. NARIP was poorly implemented. Then we have FLOCA and several other grants. So when the auditor is raising questions on NAV CDP, it's not something that we can excuse as an accounting mistake. So he says the numbers don't add up.
Chair, thank you so much. I was in Senate last week before the committee was Sotsi, and I'm very happy that the report on FLOCA was unmodified, which was one of the few counties on earth which excelled on it, and thank you for that. Let me ask the accountant then to respond.
Okay. Now we are on NAV CDP. There are audit queries on the numbers.
Okay, Honorable Chair. The variance reported, that is the variance of 55,130,917, is actually the difference between the expenditure for the year of cash shillings 144 million, recognized as transfers, and the amount received of cash shillings 89,383,098, comprising of 10 million counterpart and 79 disbursed.
Isn't that what the governor has just read?
Yes.
Which the auditor is saying is not adding up.
But that's where the 55 million is coming from.
Did you listen to the Auditor General when we asked him about the numbers? He has said it is not adding up. That's what you need to address, because you are reading what has already been read.
I'm explaining the variance.
No, you are reading. I can see what you are reading. It's here.
Yeah.
Auditor General, can you help that gentleman so that he can respond to the right thing?
Okay, thank you, Chair. We are saying in the financial statements, an expenditure of 144,514,015 is disclosed against IFMIS records indicating 89,383,098, resulting in an explained variance of 55,130,917. Then the next query is the project opening. We are doing a reconciliation of the bank account for this project, where it had an opening balance of 134 million, and during the year it received 144 million, and the closing balance in that bank account is 413, which implies a total payment of 279 million has been made. So we want an explanation for these variances.
Okay, now maybe you should address it directly before he goes back to read the governor's statement. Officer?
And also to answer, so that he can answer both.
Yes, Senator.
Why was some amount spent in IFMIS and 89 million paid outside IFMIS?
89 million is made up of 79 million that was received after the end of the financial year, and the 10 million, that's the county contribution.
All the money is put in one account.
Yes.
Why is some money spent using IFMIS and some amount spent outside IFMIS?
Chair, I think
Senator Cherage, you can
the
also...
issue is variance of this 55,130,917. Because if you cannot explain this variance, then it was not spent as per the condition. So, Bwana CEO, or was it director? Was it CEO or director? Director accountant. The accountant. So, where is this variance? Anangamwa aguti. Is there a possibility?
Can we?
No, Chair. Sometimes you speak to a man to the language they understand. It goes to the heart. So maybe that would allow. Assist him, Chair. But my only concern is
whatever you say will be expunged from the records.
Can you explain? That is what I was just emphasizing.
Okay, that's good. Please explain the variance. Yes. You have reproduced the variance. You have it there in your analysis. You have said variance. That's what we are asking you to explain, and that's what the Auditor General had asked.
No, Chair, Governor Kericho.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are your officers not saying they say things in passing? If they just explain, we would not actually even be seated here. I'm hearing that man saying that he's mentioning 79 million that was received after the closure of the financial year, and another 10 million also received after. Is he saying that 89 million Kenya shillings was received in your accounts outside of the audit cycle? That by the time that the auditors came to you, that money had not been received in your account. Is that what you're saying?
Honorable, through the chair, thank you, Senator Wambua, for that observation. Maybe Director of Finance can help us or can help the accountant to explain.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, the 79 million was received after the close of the financial year. But since we are on accrual basis, we are required to disclose it as a receivable. And it forms part of the movement in that account, and we disclose and report in the 2024-2025 financial year.
Is that difficult to explain?
Also to note that for the committee to note, the NAFCDP project, it's not a self-reporting entity like the other ones. So for us to disclose the cash and cash equivalent, that is balances in those accounts, we have to bring in the expenditure bit. And the accountant in charge of that project shares with us the expenditure during that financial period, so that we disclose together with the books of the county executive. And in the notes to the financial statements, we've disclosed the balances in those two accounts.
So one, there's a spar for
the balance in the CBK SP account, and also the balance which is in the commercial bank account. And it forms part, since we're required to report on these balances, it means then we're required to report on its expenditure as well.
But there's a special purpose account for NAFCDP.
Two, actually. There is one at CBK and another one at a commercial bank.
Okay, Senator Gata.
Chair, quickly, so just before majority talks, Chair, we are not doing audit here, We are entirely relying on the report of the OAG. So somebody would be interested to know whether the entity got in time to explain what they are telling us now. Because, did you at any given time engage the auditor to give those explanations? Because this matter shouldn't be before us by now, if they were satisfied. We are not auditing. We are trying to go by what the auditor has presented before the committee. Auditor in this process is a prosecutor.
I share your frustration, Senator Gatai.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have to respond to that at some point, but let's hear from Majority Leader.
Chair, what is concerning me is a repeated theme in all the items that we've gone through, and even this particular item that you're discussing. While you people are discussing figures, if you read what the auditor is asking, he's not asking about figures. It's a simple thing called a document. And that is what is at the heart of all this problem. The fact that we have expenditure that cannot be supported by any document. It's not about explanation. And that's, Chair, what I struggle with following the conversation today. And it's something that really bothers me. The fact that in all items that we have gone through, this is the fifth one, is all about unsupported documentation. So perhaps the question we need to ask ourselves is, where are these documents? Because if you read this auditor's report, he's saying, however, the amounts differs with the IFMIS payment details. IFMIS is a mother source of all these documentations, with the IFMIS payment details of 89,383, resulting in an unexplained variance of 55. What is the conclusion from the auditor? In the circumstance, the accuracy and the completeness of 144,514,015 included under the transfers to other government entities could not be determined. So the auditor is not struggling with the explanation that is being given about this money came in at this time or the other. Is the fact that as per the documents provided during the time of the audit, they cannot support the expenditure. And what I struggle with, Chair, is where do these documents go? Perhaps that is the basis of the biggest thing we need to unravel in our conversation today with the county government of Kericho is, where do your documents go? That is the biggest problem.
Majority Leader, I also share your frustration because the Auditor General has said, in addition to what you have said, the respective expenditure returns together with related accountability supporting documents were not provided for audit review.
Yes.
And then the governor responds and says that it was audited under State Department of Agriculture. And a sample of expenditure returns has been availed for verification. We expected you to avail it to the Senate because this is a report that is before the Senate. We cannot say that it has been availed to the State Department of Agriculture and that's it. And members, that's a problem with the these conditional grants that we are passing. NAB-CDP is processed through the Senate. I think it's an instrument that originates from the Senate. Yeah. It does not even originate from the National Assembly. It originates from the Senate. And then when it comes to expenditure of that money, Governor, you're telling us, no, that one was audited under State Department. It can't be that way. Because that money has come to you. You have applied it on your budget. It's your officers you have spent on it. It cannot be that when you now ask the question, you tell us it's at the State Department of Agriculture. I think that's what we must also deal with beyond the numbers. Because for this amount of 144, the Senate has absolutely no visibility on how it was used.
Thank you. I share in the sentiments of the senators. One is that what comes out in NAB-CDP is that this is a program that is audited and is basically domiciled within the State Department of Agriculture. Sometimes, many of the programs even done are actually procured through the State Department of Agriculture. I'll give you, for example, the e-fascination program. The county has nothing in the procurement process or even the expenditure of that money because it is done by the national government and all we do is just to execute what has been done. And most of the time, I think this is one of the first times that this program is becoming a self-reporting entity. But not to belittle that, I think Senator Aaron Cheruiyot had mentioned something on documentations, which I share in that concern too, and I would wish them to ask the Director of Finance to specifically respond to the matter of documentations.
Maybe while on it, that is why I asked during audit process to the county participate, because that is when governor and CCM, you have opportunity to know documents. Even I think the audit process is the most fair because even they give you a management letter and point out areas that you need to follow it up. So I think, and CCM Finance has been serving for some time. So this is lack of leadership. Maybe there is a problem that he is experiencing, then he can share with the committee. Because you are aware, Chair, under Public Audit Act, non-provision of documentation is an offense that has serious consequences.
Now, Governor, maybe just to pick something that you said, that in NAB-CDP, the State Department sometimes does procurement.
Sometimes. In fact, I'll just cite the e-fascination. The entire procurement is guided by the State Department. They do the procurement themselves. The county has no role over it.
Let's look at the structure of other conditional grants.
Yeah. FLOCA is entirely at the county government.
There's KUSP.
Yes.
Kenya Urban Support.
The funded by the World Bank. It's done by the county government.
Decisions are made by the county.
Of course, guided by the manual of World Bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which other significant conditional grant do you have?
KDSP.
KDSP.
Yeah.
The decisions are made at the county.
At the county, but guided also by the manual of the World Bank.
But NAFCDP, you are saying
NAFCDP is guided by the State Department of Agriculture.
guided means that even procurement decisions are made.
Yes, some of the procurements are done by the State Department.
I think that's a significant flaw that must be addressed.
Yeah.
You know, Chair, and Governor, you need to tell this to your colleagues. We cannot allow the national government to claw back on devolution at that rate. They cannot come and make decisions on matters agriculture in the counties. If they want to support agricultural functions and programs in counties, they know what to do. Agriculture is a devolved function. Let funds follow functions. Push monies to the counties make decisions. Because if you say some decisions are made by procurement, decisions are made by the State Department of Agriculture, and other decisions are made by yourselves. When it comes to audit, now who gets audited for what? It creates unnecessary confusion.
For the sake of this, just to inform the committee, because I think this is a Senate of the Republic of Kenya. You will be surprised that even appointing a director for NAFCDB is also only by the county. It has to be approved by the State Department. So I think basically this audit query should be going to the State Department, because we're just conveyor belts and we are attracting here to come and answer questions that sometimes we don't have no absolute control over the same
Governor,
fund.
we were around when NARIP was running and it had similar problems, and we were told NAFCDP was a better design. But it appears that it still has the same problems. But the one thing that you cannot run away from is that you must provide accountability. You must provide expenditure returns together with related accountability supporting documents. Even if you give them to the State Department, you must give them to the Auditor General and to the Senate. Because as things stand, we cannot say that this 144 million was spent properly. We have no visibility unless you provide that documentation.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you in totality, because this is accountability, and we are, by law, we are supposed to account for the same, and that's why we are here, Honorable Chair. So let me ask the Director of Finance to further provide directions.
Members, because of time.
Chair, can I say something on what the Governor is raising before the Vice Chair comes on
let's be conscious of time.
I agree, but Governor, if you give an inch, they take a kilometer. Because I remember on Friday, you were smiling happily and signing National Equipment Service Program to support after the expiry of Management Equipment Services MES. So if the Council of Governors cannot take a position and tell the national government, we can procure these medical equipments, for example. If also through conditional funds you are being guided, also CHBs you are being guided. So the question is, it is you governors who are allowing clawback of the functions of default, because looking at the fourth schedule, your default function is crystal clear. No one has even challenged in any discourse of court. So even if there is article, or is it 189 on the engagement between the national government, it should be there. So the question is, as Council of Governors, you have failed because you have not protected your territory. You are allowing, you are ceding 1 inch. They will, now, if we are careful, and Senator Wambua, as you should be careful by the time you become a governor, you look like Mutai, because all functions would have been taken. So you need to be careful. And as the current governors, you have obligation to protect for posterity.
Senator Cheriot. On a point of order, Chair, allow me to protest on behalf of Kericho people. This is a session to listen to our books and speak to their matters. You guys have spent far much time speaking on policy issues. Important as they are, we missed the point on the substantive issues that brought us here. And I'm looking at the time, it's barely 20 minutes before the rise of the House. If we continue on the policy conversations here, when will we delve into very substantive issues that are in this report? Therefore, I want to plead with you that you guide us back to what brought us here. not the policy conversations.
Chair, that will happen. Chair, that will happen.
I agree with Majority Leader.
Chair.
Because of time, generally Majority Leader, we usually deal with the numbers plus the policy as well, so that we can make relevant recommendations. But on this, Governor, for 144 million spent in Kericho on NAV CDP, you must provide the supporting documents to the Auditor General, irrespective of how flawed the policy is. We will fix the policy when we are passing the additional allocations bill.
Chair, just sorry, so that I don't lose. There's something the governor said, which I wanted to hear the response to, in response to my question. I think he had asked the Director for Finance to say something about the specific question about documentation. Why are we having this problem? I'd be interested to hear the response.
Fine. Perhaps you take 1 or 2 minutes. Where's the Director? Who has been given the stage? Introduce yourself for answered purposes.
No, he's been speaking. He's been speaking.
Oh, it's the same gentleman.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senator Kericho. On the issue of documentation, what I have identified as some of the gaps which exist, and we've tried to address that issue. We've come up with an archiving center at the county headquarters where we keep all the documents. And what's happening, what used to happen before we consolidated the storage of these documents is that the documents were spread across all these departments. But right now we do have an archiving center where we keep all the documents, and at an instance we are able to access the documentation. So going forward, Honorable Senator, this is an issue which we've addressed, and we will not have this issue recurring in the subsequent audit cycle. Thank you.
Now, Auditor General, we are directing that you must get the evidence of expenditure of 144 million on NAV CDP, because the governor has passed it on to the State Department, but the function, the money was sent to him, is the one to account for it. And then we'll fix the policy issues as the legislators. Let's, honourable members...
Chair, please make haste in fixing that policy issue. It will be important to do that. And I want to make a comment, Chair. When we say these things, they just don't relate to the Kericho county government. They relate to a lot of other counties, a lot of other functions. And I'm happy that the leader of the government business in the Senate is seated next to you. So that overreach, that clawback, it's a conversation that we must really have.
Correct. Honourable members, let's talk about pending bills in Kericho County. 1.8 billion. Inaccuracy of trade and other payables. Number 8 in the certificate.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Inaccuracy of trade and other payables. The statement of financial position and as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statements reflects trade and other payables totaling 1,884,953,574. However, the amount does not include 21 court awards made against the county executive over the years totaling to 69,083,118, which are not been paid, and there was no evidence of appeal by management. Further, the amount does not include payables to KEMSA. Our corroborative evidence from KEMSA revealed that county executive owed Kenya shillings 1,140 for medical supplies, which was not disclosed in the financial statements of the county executive. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Honorable Chair, management concurs with the auditor's observation regarding the omission of 21 court awards amounting to Kenya shillings 69,003,118 and the payable to Kenya Medical Supplies Agency KEMSA amounting to Kenya shillings 61,140 from the trade and other payables balance. The omission arose due to an oversight during the compilation of the financial statements. Management acknowledges that these amounts should have been disclosed as part of trade and other payables in the statement of financial position and accompanying notes. Management undertakes to update the register of pending court awards, and ensure all confirmed liabilities are captured in the financial records. Reconcile supplier statements, including results from KEMSA, on a timely basis to ensure completeness and accuracy of payables, and include the omitted amounts of subsequent financial statements, and strengthen internal review controls to prevent recurrence.
Honorable members, if you have the detailed financial statements, as you usually do, we go to note 32 on trade and other payables, which ages the debt, breaks it down to its components, and also demonstrates how it's been moving. So, Governor, in 1 year, your pending bills grew by 700 million. Is that 700 million? From 1.1 billion at the close of the year to 1.8 billion. Is that correct? Note 32. Note 32 to the financial statements.
It moved to,
It's the notes supporting the financial statements, where you have the aging analysis and the movement of pending bills.
This one is saying that this one.
We can just have a conversation. Maybe just explain to us why it's increasing. Secondly, payables to employees moved from 0 to 292 million in 1 year. Maybe you could explain why that happened. And debt over 1 year grew by 28%. From 0 to 533 million. You could help us understand that, contextualize this table.
So first, maybe I'll just begin first with the audit query number 8. One is that we have had running cases over the years in the county government of Kericho. And what I did when I took over, I considered a team to look into all those cases and tabulate so that we can include in the budget of this financial year and be able to pay those pending bills of advocates that were engaged previously by the county government to execute matters of the county government, including, in fact, Chair, some of these pending bills included some cases which was called the Elizabeth case. Chair, it was a landmark case between the county government of Kericho and the British government, which was done around 2013 or 2014 thereafter. Over time, we have had also cases in roads and other departments of suppliers that goes to court as up to 2016 that have not been paid, and probably because of the question and that. So in a nutshell, what we have done as a county is to audit all these applications that we do as a county so that we face it out, because it's not possible to pay all of them at once without collapsing the entire development budget. And that's what we are doing. As to the pending bills that have accrued over time, is that at the close of a financial year, we cross over with the shareable revenue. Sometimes we are closing over a financial year and the shareable revenue have not been dispatched to the county, and we close over the year with that pending bill. Also, on on-source revenue, we set the bar high for our on-source revenue. We had a set target of 1.2 billion, which we didn't meet. We collected around how much? 854 million, and already we had sourced, or rather we had procured to that tune of 1.2. So the shortfall of around 400 million then occasion as a result of not meeting our on-source revenue. But what we have done, going forward is that we have rationalized our budget expectations, revise the on-source revenue to meet what we can achieve, so that we avoid accrual of pending bills.
Why don't we be more specific? Because there are two things in the audit. There's a KEMSA pending bill. It's not very material. So maybe that's something that can be fixed. Then
that one, as we speak today.
There's the legal fees, the awards.
Yeah.
Now, these awards, there's no appeal.
Yes.
And you know that interest also continues to grow, to accrue. You have no luxury of excluding them from your liabilities. Even if you're not, even if you are planning a payment plan for the future, but it must be disclosed. It must be disclosed as a liability. I don't know where you got the advice to exclude them, even if you thought that you couldn't pay, because if you haven't appealed, then you agree with the decision of the court.
Chairman, I'm happy some senators are contesting for governors, and I wish them very well. In fact, we have been in terrible situations. My CCs has been hiding in their houses and the county secretary because of consistent warrants of arrest of low fees that dates back to 2013 when devolution was formed. So I agree with you, Chair, that we did a mistake by not disclosing, and we are working in this financial year to disclose all of them, and I'm working with the county assembly to budget so that we're able to meet our applications.
Senator
Again, yeah, more specifically, we have 21 court awards, and there is no evidence, they've not been paid, and there's no evidence of appeal. But that response, Governor, the omission arose due to an oversight during compilation of financial statements, does not really wash. So we want to know if up to now you have appealed. To how many cases?
Chair.
How many have you paid up to now? These are the type of responses that we require.
Chair, just to say, some of the cases cannot be appealed because a decision was made like 6-7 years ago and it was never appealed. I'll cite for you a case like Kokuta land that Kisumu County successfully is trying to annex away from Kericho County. And the case was never appealed in 2018, and we have to pay the lawyers. So what we are doing is just accepting our situation. We have established a robust county attorney office and equipped them. We have recruited equally a county solicitor general and a team of lawyers so that they are able to look into these matters. And in future, we avoid going for external lawyers to handle matters of the county.
Is the county attorney in the delegation?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Where's the county attorney?
And for good order, Chair, the beautiful thing is that the county attorney has been in office longer than the period the governor has been, including that 2018 case he's talking about. So it's better placed.
County attorney, maybe we could benefit by, where's the county attorney? Is he? Please give him a mic and maybe come to a position where the members can see you.
Chair, in addition, why oversight? And we want to know who is responsible for that. Because you cannot say you owe somebody 61 million and you didn't actually capture in your books. That is being irresponsible. Yes.
Yeah, so there are two distinct things that we expect the county attorney to advise the county government on. One, where the courts have made decisions, these ones, the 21. Yes. And two, on contingent liabilities, where matters are still before the court.
Yeah.
I do not seem to have seen a schedule of contingent liabilities in this financial statement. Did you prepare that and forward to the finance people?
Yes, we did. We usually ensure that we update it and we forward to the auditors and the finance department.
Do we have a schedule of contingent liabilities in the financial statements, Auditor General?
No, Chair, we don't have it.
So did you render that advice, or you failed to provide that advice to the county?
I did. I believe, Chair, where the problem was that there has not been any budget for the office of the county attorney. But in the next financial year, it has been provided for.
Why?
But if let me ask you, county attorney.
How long has the county attorney been in office?
How much of this amount is interest? How much of this amount, or this is just principal? The amount cited here.
No, the amount cited there is for various cases, court cases. It's not one case, court case.
Yes, there are various cases. Have you quantified the principal award, or you have quantified also the interest?
This includes the interest. And whenever there is a delay, we also include the interest.
So where is that schedule that shows that? Because you didn't include it in your pending bills. It looks like you're the only one who knows it. And members, what happens is that when there's a transition, there's usually this committee called Committee on Assumption of Office.
Assumption of Office, yes.
that is when the county attorney comes up with a list of bills. And I don't know whether you experienced that, but a lot of bad things happen at that point in time. A county attorney comes with a piece of paper saying that we owe people 100 million, which
Chair.
was nowhere on the records.
Chair.
And this is what we must guard against. Everything must be disclosed. They cannot be in people's pockets and in people's phones.
Chair.
Senator.
Chair, I just wanted to ask the county attorney to give us an evidence of his submission on the pending bills to the OAG and also to the finance department. Do you have a copy? Number two, I don't know what he has been doing in the office when his department doesn't have a penny to resolve the issues that concerns his department. So we need a proof to show that you have not been getting also budget as far as that matter is concerned.
Chair, I want to ride on that last question by Senator Dulo. Where I come from, words have meaning. So when the governor says he has established a robust county attorney office, then the county attorney wakes up and says, we don't have a budget. Now, whose word do we go with? Are you robust or you don't have a budget? And how can you be robust if you don't have a budget?
No, it looks robust. I think if you go by looks.
Chair.
Maybe can, yeah.
Chair, so that Governor, you answer all of it and through your county attorney. Chair, I have heard from your senator that you have been in office since 2013. Number one, in the words of Governor, and I want to advise Wambua that since the Governor took an oath, is the one who should be accountable. So my only issue is you have been in office from 2013, longer than most of these ladies and gentlemen, including the Governor. The Governor has gone on record in some of the cases that were ruled against the county government of Kericho. There was no appeal. So what are you doing in office? Don't you think you have failed the people of Kericho? Because unless you will provide us with a schedule where you have appealed against being ruled against Kericho County, which now they are paying legal fees instead of buying drugs in Ainamo dispensary or somewhere in Kapchepet where the majority leader comes from.
Just maybe to ride on the same chair, if you have an award, a court award, you either pay or you appeal. So what are the plans? Because if the award was in 2018 and up to now you have not paid, what are your plans? Because you would have interest charged on the awards.
Okay. County attorney. I don't feel intimidated, but just deal with the substantive issues that it's not personal. We just want to get an answer for the people of Kericho.
Okay. I believe what I can clarify on the budget is that the budget was not domiciled in the office of the county attorney, but now the governor has insisted that it should be domiciled, and it has been captured in the incoming budget of 2026-27.
Proceed. And,
okay.
Brevity will help.
Okay, the other issue was on whether we appeal or not. Yeah, we've been appealing cases where we find that there is need to appeal, but some where we find that there is no, it will be expensive to appeal. It will, we do give advice on that for payment.
Do we?
Just quickly follow up, Wakili. So can you give, through the chair with the indulgence, can you give a schedule of the cases that has been under your watch, including what you have against appeal and you have appealed, so that we can see the value for money? Because you must also be held accountable. The fact that you are paid through Kericho taxpayers' money, you must be held accountable. And from 2013, so are you in a position to ensure that is brought? And finally, in the contingency liability and budget, you have said the governor has said domiciled. Where? Is it your department at county attorney or domicile under finance department? What do you mean? Thank you, Chair. Yield back.
Yeah. Senator.
Just a quick one to the governor, because I'm really worried and concerned for time, is that what is his overall policy position on this pending bill item of 1.8? I know we've discussed about the cases, which is one of the items under, but there's a bigger policy direction which the governor has to give, Chair, on how he intends to tackle this issue of the growing pending bill, now standing at 1,884,953,574. What is the policy guidance and how does he intend to handle it?
Okay, maybe since that gentleman still has a mic, we'll get to the governor on that question. But you have noticed that there are three paragraphs in this report on legal fees. There is that one of 21 court awards of 69 million. There is another paragraph that talks about nugatory and avoidable expenditure on legal fees. And there's a third paragraph that talks about irregular payment of legal fees. One department should never generate 3 audit queries. So there's some tightening, some administrative action that must be taken. But due to pressures of time, Governor, what's your plan for the 1.8 billion to pay 1.8 billion? Because we have just dealt with law firms and claimants, but there are bigger problems with small suppliers who are owed 1.8 billion in Kericho.
Thank you, Chair.
Window of procedure. I know there were 51 unresolved issues. If it is not too troubled so much, if Majority Leader feel will not do justice, after we rise at 6:30, we can still come back. We have even processed impeachment past midnight. I don't know whether the governor will still be available beyond 6:30. We can still look at those issues if they or reschedule for another date.
I think let's take a view when it gets to a point where we must adjourn. We can give directions at that point. But the thing is, we must do substantive justice to this report. And honorable members, I'm happy that we have had a very mature and a very, very serious conversation today. You see, even in past events where we've had even impeachment proceedings, we have stopped at procedural matters. At least today, we are talking to the real issues facing the people of Kericho. If time becomes a problem, because we don't have the constraint of a constitutional deadline, we can still schedule another meeting for us to deal with the things that are remaining. Proceed, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, Chair, I must also just through you that when I took over as the governor of Kericho, I inherited a pending bill of around 700 million. Over time, our own source revenue have never met these targets. Administratively, what I've done is through our internal audit committee, which at your advice, Chair, and I want to thank this committee again, because we must also say what is positive our committee has done. When we appeared before you in the last session, you observed and directed us to have an internal audit team, which we didn't have. Independent, which we did, we have implemented from your space, and it has made also our work easier, because what we have done now is to I've directed that internal audit team to verify the actual pending bills, which are supposed to be supported by documentations, so that as we move in this financial year, we will be doing etching. We pay those pending bills which have stayed for a very long time, while at the same time have a payment plan which will not also hamper the development projects of the county. As we all know, Honorable Chair, the rule from the controller of budget before she releases any funds is that pending bills is always the first charge. And so I want to assure the Senate, my senator, that we have a plan which we are paying. And as it is today, as of now, we are paid 708 million as today as we are standing here. And we still have 2 more requisitions to go before the close of this financial year, and we commit that in the next audit, which is the entry meeting will be next week, we will have reported a decrease of these pending bills. While at the same time, to cushion the control measures of the budget to control, we have equally revised our own source targets. downwards, because I think we were over ambitious, so that we don't over procure, and we have raised strict measures also to departments to ensure that they procure only what is in the budget and not what is in the budget. So we have a clear plan of payment, and I want to assure this committee that in the next the next 1-2 successive financial year, by God's grace, we will still be there because of an election next year. I don't know even all of us will survive by God's grace. We don't know who will be here next year, sit that in this table, even Senator Azia and myself. But we trust God that somehow we will survive.
The Senate will be there.
The Senate will be there, and the government of Kericho will be there. And that is why we are putting in space measures to ensure that even guiding and successive times ahead of us, in 2 years, we'll be able to have cleared these outstanding pending bills.
But Governor, the numbers tell a different story.
Yes.
That now you have debt older than 1 year. And before, all your debt was within 1 year. Now you have debt owed to employees of 292 million. And previously you had nothing.
292 million to employees?
Yes. Employee payables of 292 million, 752,000. I hope those are not statutory.
That was, let me ask CPA.
Chair, most
Wilbert to respond.
Under 1 year, Governor, like 1.3 billion of pending bill. When you say, so you have maintained the consistency of 700 million pending bill, because between there was a movement from 1.1 to 1.8 billion, which means you have never sorted these 700 based on your aging analysis. I thought you say the older the pay,
we paid.
the older you pay.
You see, we paid the previous as up to 2016, 2018, because government is a going process. But as we pay so also, there is no substantive budget or column that say this is for pending bills, this is for new works, because this is one pot on the table, 7 or 8 billion shillings. And so what we have done, and I said also that we had over projected our own source revenue. And you see, when you have a deficit of 400 million in own source revenue, and you have already sourced for the works, it has implications to the pending bills. As to the staff payment, I would wish to ask CPA Wilbert to respond to that one. To the
Before the CPA comes in, Governor, there is something you have said severally, actually 3 times. You know, you may not be able to get out of that problem of trade and other payables if you continue over projecting your own source revenue. Because you project, then you commit. Like now in the last financial year, you project 1.3 billion. You only manage 800 million. So you have projected by over 500 million Kenya shillings. That becomes a pending bill. Yeah, so that becomes a problem that will recur in the
point of information, Senator Wambua, and you have to note that majority of, and we had a problem with your county, Homa Bay, majority of revenue collected is from hospital fees. That is in this financial year, Governor, where you collected 1.3 billion in 24-25, you collected 715,636,079 out of 1.3 billion. So you are collecting much more from the hospital fees. I don't think. So when you say over projection, what do you mean?
Chair, I agree with Senator Cherargei, but you see, when you are doing a budget estimate, all of them, including what comes from the hospital and all these, are put together. However, this year is a bit different, because with the implementation of the FIF facility policy, nobody can touch the money that belongs to the hospitals. And it becomes counties to work hard to use other avenues to do which were put measures on the same. Chair, I admit the mistake I did, because from 2013 to 2022 when I took over, the highest Kericho County collected was 420 million. So when I came in, I targeted $1 billion, and we came to around 800 million. So I think there was the excitement of coming in from the university that there are miracles you can do, only to realize that we're to a different background. And we have adjusted the emotions, we have downscaled the expectation of one's revenue, and we promise in future that we'll deal with these pending bills and will not recur again.
There was someone to respond to the staff payables?
292, yeah.
Honorable Chair, the amount of 292 disclosed as
payables is June salaries. We had requisitioned for funds, but as of 30th June, we had not received. So we had to disclose it as a trade payable, but we paid it in July.
I hope it does not include statutory deductions. Or
It's gross amounts.
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
I hope that in your overall pending bills,
yes,
there are no outstanding statutory deductions.
No, they are not outstanding. That is gross amounts. That is salary for the month of June.
No, leave alone the 292.
Yes.
I hope in your inherited
we don't have.
In your inherited pending bills,
yes,
there are no further staff payables.
No, we don't have.
I hope that the last administration that was leading Kericho, their gratuities and benefits have all been paid.
Yes, Chair.
And nothing has been withheld.
Nothing outstanding.
Okay, so we'll probably need, we had recommended a payment plan for that every county must furnish the control of budget with a payment plan to ensure that debt, I think we had broken it down in a few steps to refine the Ledama motion. We said statutory deductions and staff payables must be paid within 30 days because there's no reason why you should be holding statutory deductions for staff. And then I think we will provide a very detailed communication on how we feel this matter should be dealt with. But you need to be concerned that it's growing and your own source revenue is going down. Yes. You need to be concerned about those legal fees of 60 million because from markets you only collect 11 million. So it will take you 6 years of market collections for you to be able to pay those legal costs. It does not look very good.
Chair, as you exit, I hope in future when we get time, we must see a receiver of revenue report because governor has said there is an overprojection. So we must be told because I expected land rates where multinational hold a huge chunk of land. They should be collecting good amount because Kericho is one of the biggest in terms of multinational on the issue of land rates and even says there should be a significant improvement. But I think, Chair, when we get time, we can go through receiver of revenue. But just for the information of committee, when we went there as ICT committee, the governor and the team of finance told us there is a significant improvement in terms of revenue collection. So when he talks about overprojection, I don't quite place it at the hand. But I hope when we see receiver of revenue, we should be able to unravel those concepts.
Yeah, so I think now that we have had this session, we'll be recommending action to be taken on specific issues within certain timelines, after which then the governor will come back to deal with it. And you see, that's when you failed to appear in the March period, that was a time for us to give specific recommendations. So now we will give more specific recommendations and timelines for you to respond to them. Senator?
Just a quick comment, because we are discussing about revenue and the governor has mentioned that he is doing something about it. I just want to put it to him that he has to keep an eye on the people that he deploys to collect rates for him in the markets, because the story that the report is telling is not a good one. In 2022-2023, governor, from markets, you collected 18.9 million. 23-24, you collected 15.8 million. 24-25, which is a year under review, 11.5 million. You're losing almost 4 million each year. That's not a good story, because it tells you something is amiss. Please find out what it is, because at this rate, then by next year, you may be very low to meet some of these obligations. Or perhaps maybe you could explain what is it that is happening. Because what I know as a resident of Kericho is that I see those fellows with the yellow jackets collecting cess from the market women and the traders. Why is it not reflecting in our books?
Maybe, Aaron, there was a time there were some tanks or market tanks that were placed in the town. Maybe when he removed, the market fees was affected. These ones, the Juakali kind of, that was set in town. These ones that are...
let's not speculate. The governor is here.
No, maybe.
Governor, I mean, it's a worrying trend. It's a worrying trend. 3 million, 4 million drops.
Chair, I just want to say to this committee that Kericho has come from a very difficult past. In the last 2-3 years, we've had a mix of political problems, and sometimes when you are not in charge, things can go the way it is. And we've had markets that are being incited or otherwise not to pay revenue because of 1 or 2 reasons. But now we are very stable. And
who was in charge?
or what?
Of the county.
During
You
impeachment.
said there has been issues here.
I said there have been political turbulence in the
But
country.
who has been in charge?
Myself.
Now, honourable members, I think this question by the majority leader is very substantive. It goes to the heart of the receiver of revenue report. Remember, we are supposed to have done the executive report and the receiver of revenue report. I don't know whether it's in Kericho where it was reported that there were some system problems in one of our past meetings. Was it Kericho or it was Bomet?
Yeah, and following a recommendation here, we now have a very good system.
So, for us to ensure that we don't just gloss
Actually,
over the
it was,
issues.
23-24.
23-24.
Yeah.
If we are to address it in 1 minute, we'll gloss over it.
Yes.
I think let's organize ourselves in such a way that the residual matters we can set
So I was
up.
just, because Senator Aaron has raised a very critical concern. So my commitment, Senator, is that with the board in space, which the County Assembly today passed, we'll be able to, the contract of the enforcement officers elapsed a year ago. And because of the wrangles we had with the Assembly and Executive, we didn't have a county public service board in space. And I want to thank Aaron Cheriot for his intervention. I think the Assembly this morning passed a county public service board, which will allow us to bring back, because it's only the county public service board that can extend contract or recruit enforcement officers. So part of what led to that poor collections was the enforcement aspect of it. But we are committing, Chair, that going forward, we're going to improve on it and we will work to make sure that we attain the targets that we have set in that.
Okay, so
lastly, Chair, you mentioned something on multinationals company. Maybe I should tell this committee, when I took over as the governor, they were paying 264 shillings per egg. And I pushed them very hard. And today they are paying us 3,000, which has also helped us to increase what we are collecting. And perhaps intervention from this committee or Senate is that these multinationals companies are not really, counties have no say over these multinationals. And that is why I agree with Senator Cheriot's previous comment that we need the national government to give the utilities back to the county governments so that they're able to make decisions on the rates and whatever is paid independently on those multinationals. In the same way, like we have Masai Mara came back, we have Amboseli, which the counties have a say over it. The multinational TSTs, right from Nandi to Bomet, the county government are just viewing from a distance. We absolutely have no control over the same because the leases, the title deeds are with the national government. Yet the law states that county governments are trustees. So this is like a woman you have, but you don't fully own her.
That's a very bad analogy. Women are not property to be owned. Now, Governor, can you withdraw the last? Please withdraw it so that we don't have unnecessary.
Honorable Chair, I withdraw and apologize, and I'm a feminist. Apologies myself. I love women.
Okay, so that's off the record. Now let's deal with the last matter on unsupported access road expenditure. At least he has withdrawn and apologized. We unsupported access road expenditure. Number 13. Perhaps that could be the last matter we are dealing with, but
Thank you, Chair.
So far so good. At least we are talking to the issues of Kericho, and if it requires 2-3 meetings for us to exhaust this, so be it.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported access road expenditure. The statement of financial performance reflects use of goods and services amounting to 2,171,715,695. The amount includes access roads expenditure amount of 653,436,226 as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statements. However, management did not provide details of the roads repaired or constructed, contract amount for each road done, and payment document support of this expenditure for audit review. Further, the access road expenditure includes legal fee amounting to 9,897,699. However, the legal fee expense have been wrongly charged to access road, and management did not explain the anomaly. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, quickly your response.
Honorable, the management notes the auditor's observation, which to state that supporting documents showing the details of the roads repaired or constructed, contract amount for each road done, and payment are provided in Annex 13B. Further, the amount of Kenya shillings 9,897,799 relating to local expenses was erroneously charged to the assessed road expenditure account. The error has been corrected by passing the general entries as attached in Annex 13C.
Auditor General, the substantive matter was that for 653 million, there were no details of the roads repaired or constructed, the contract amount for each road, and payment documents to support the expenditure had not been provided for audit review.
Thank you, Chair. Still, the information has not been provided since we only have the contractor was paid and the amount, but the specifics of the roads constructed have not been reflected in the schedule provided. Thank you.
Governor?
Chair, I think the auditor is mischievous here. I rarely say that statements because 655 million is an entire budget of roads in a financial year. So for the 1 week they were in the county, what were they auditing then?
Order, Governor. Let's not impute improper motives on the part of the Auditor General. We have just asked for the supporting documentation, and I join the Auditor General in asking that. I also would wish...
Chair, the documents are there, Chair. We provided.
Chair, can I assist the Governor?
Senator Chirake?
Which I really... Because, Governor, in your Annex 13B, which is your document, you have given us the roads you were paid to access roads to 653,436,190, and there are companies that have been paid. And you have indicated access roads without specifying which are these roads in this 653 million. So the only concern, if you look even at note is it note number 10 or on your financial statements, you have given as part of the statement is 653 million, but you have not given the breakdown of access roads, which are they. So the question is, they pulled it from your financial statements, which you should tell us which are these roads. Because I can see on the access roads and the companies that have been paid, the dates that have been paid, the amount, and in fact, this is your document. And even when you look at 13C, including you have attached your vouchers of that amounts to 653 Kenya shillings on these access roads. So where are these access roads? These are next.
Because you have seen cases where barabara imejengwa kwa tumbo.
Correct.
Because here now, for this schedule of...
And my worry, Chair, the people of Kericho on this 653, they would want to know which road is this. Is it somewhere in Kenyan West? Is it in East? Is it in Ainamoi? Where is it?
And again,
is it in Chesingoro?
For avoidance of doubt.
Somewhere in Chesingoro, Mr. Speaker. So where is it?
For avoidance of doubt, these are actual payments. Isn't it? Actual payments. They're not pending bills.
Yes, Chair.
Question, Auditor. What is the source of this document?
Okay, these are the supporting documents, the financial statements for the expenditure of road access. So they gave us the list, but they didn't give us the name of the roads.
And in the entire duration of the audit process, you could not get the names? Sorry?
Chair,
this is what
there is no payment voucher that is done without stating the road. It must capture the road.
Maybe what you can do, CC Rob, go to this document, Annex 13B. Just have a look at it. 13B. Of the document in the file.
They have given a schedule of the payment.
No, this is a ledger, but we have the real payment vouchers.
But now that is what the auditor is saying.
And they saw the payment vouchers.
But they are saying they didn't see it.
No, they are here.
Auditor, did you see it or you didn't? The CC is saying they showed them to you.
Maybe I can read the question. The amount includes access road expenditure amount of 653 million as disclosed in note 10 to the financial statements. However, management did not provide details of the roads repaired or constructed, contract amount for each road done, and repayment documents in support of this expenditure. What we mean here, they gave us a list of access roads, but they didn't give us the details of which road.
Which is this document now? The
Yes,
13B.
this is the document they
This
provided.
reading access road, access road,
Yes,
access road.
yes. So in this narration, we should have had construction of road from point A to point B.
No,
Thank
that much we understand. The question to the CEC, which is saying they showed these roads by name to you guys. You are saying we never saw them. Then the committee is left wondering who is telling the truth.
You know, through the chair,
He is telling the truth.
even the vouchers indicate we are paying which road from where to where, and the payment vouchers are always presented to the auditor.
Point of procedure, Chair.
Members, in the remaining 3 minutes,
Kericho has been accused of non-provision of documentation. And when by the time they audit, they didn't find this information.
And that
because
has
by the
been
time, and
consistent.
you know, Chair, they generated this from their own documents called financial statements that access roads contribute 653 million. When they went for documentation, they didn't get this documentation has been provided by the county as of now.
In fact, to make your case easier, what CEC ROP you should have done, because you knew this is an audit query that you're coming to respond to, then today you would have brought the same. And we would be here looking at it saying, we have 653 million paid. It was from this road, this particular one. Then we would have settled
And
this
he
matter.
should have attached the way he has attached 13B, those roads, access roads, and then give us the total. I think that is
So the problem is not with the auditor.
Yes.
The problem is not with the auditor. Because you saw this in the draft, you saw this in the management letter. It was public when it came to the Senate. It remained undefended up to 30th of March. For us, the position we take is the same as the auditor. That for 630 something million, 653 million, there does not seem to be evidence of expenditure.
Chair, on this one, Chair, very respectfully, Chair, and thank you for guiding us. In fact, even within the files, we have payment vouchers detailing the road from what point to what point, including the amount, and they're in the file here.
But Governor,
but you
Annex
didn't provide
13B, Annex 13B that Majority Leader had referred you to, the first row there is Zoomland Limited, paid 4.198 million. So was it for a road, for a footpath, for a bridge, for... You see, that's the clarity that the Auditor General is looking for.
And Chair, even look at payment vouchers, they are not clear, they are not legible.
Chair, many times when in a court of law, when you're being prosecuted, you have a right of agreeing or disagreeing. And on this one, I disagree with the auditor. Because we have up to payment vouchers here.
You have said you have provided a voucher number 7, just 1 minute.
Before you disagree, you know, Chair, in the interest of justice, because you also have to be very fair to everyone. When we sat here for the briefing, you know, 13B is not just that list that is provided there. 13B is long, it's a huge annex. It has a lot of documents attached to it. And I heard the Office of the Auditor General say that they sampled some of these projects and they visited. So what were you visiting if you did not know which road had been worked on? You know, it's also good to just get these things right.
Through Chair.
Auditor?
Through Chair. Okay, maybe I'll take you back to the audit process which we carried for Kericho, whereby we did what we call an in-year audit and the final audit. In the in-year audits, we sample payment vouchers, which we test whether procedures are followed. And indeed, those are the payment vouchers we reviewed during the in-year audit to test whether procedures were properly followed. But when we are doing the final audit, we want to confirm the accuracy and completeness of the payments. And that one can only be confirmed from details provided in schedules, which of course, again, we sample a few to check. In this case, they provided a schedule which did not indicate the roads. So if we have at least And maybe I can check whether this also indicates the payment voucher numbers, the list.
Chair, maybe also as he checks, have you seen these payment vouchers? They are not readable. So when somebody, before you proceed, OAG,
yes.
You know, when somebody, I can see number 7 is not readable and number 81, a number of them, including the legibility of the names. And then finally, Chair, in this annexure, they have attached a document that is handwritten. And some of the companies that have been paid, including the PV number and everything, this is handwritten. And some markings have been made. So the question is, Governor, the vouchers, some of them or most of them are not legible to read, number one. Number two, even the handwritten are prone to cancelling, rubbing out, and what have you. This one, Chair, does not in any way assist us to tally to 653 million that was done on access roads. I thought you have Department of Roads, and I wish your CC is here.
Chair, as I give to the CC, and
can I finish, Governor, so that
honourable members, we have an automatic guillotine.
I was winding up.
An automatic guillotine which is 2:30.
Can I finish?
This matter, perhaps we might not be able to prosecute fully.
So we defer to a later day.
We defer it to another day.
Thank you.
Because remember, we had adopted the Auditor General's report as is, and we were to forward this report to EACC and DCI for investigation. And this perhaps could have been one of those things that EACC was to open a file on. But if the county feels that they have an explanation and they have provided that explanation, we do not need to clog the EACC with mundane things that can be dealt with at the accounting level. There are a few things in this report that we have not dealt with. Unexplained cash payments, unexplained payments, unsupported insurance costs, and a few things of expenditure that is not supported. The EACC is sitting here in the committee, is part of this committee. I think they're also taking note that there could have been some things we agreed with the Auditor General that had not been supported, but in this implementation meeting, we can clearly see some effort is being made. It would be important for us to schedule another meeting to deal with the remnant issues, so that whatever we are not able to deal with is what then we forward to other investigative agencies. Due to time, I will need to bring this meeting to close and perhaps limit the closing remarks to the Governor and the Majority Leader. Honourable members, if we can donate our time to them. Governor, any matter in closing?
Thank you so much, Chair. Senator Mwarume and the team of Committee of Education were in the counties establishing if we are implementing ECD and FTCs, which I think is very commendable because they could find the facts. Today, as we are closing this, issues has been raised on whether a road is not there. I believe the Senate also can step out, go visit those roads if they are there or not, so that we move from theory into real encounter on the ground what's happening. Secondly, Chair, I must thank your committee. On many occasions that we appeared for you for the last 4 years, you have helped shape counties, including even my own leadership within the county government of Kericho, from the requests that come from you. We commit, Chair, that anytime you require us to appear before this distinct committee of the Senate, we will avail ourselves and will work hard to also implement what you have recommended to us for the success of county governments, because governments does not belong to individuals, it belongs to the people, it belongs to the citizen. And you were doing a noble job by following the resources that you have given to the counties. Lastly, through your chair, I also want to thank the Senate because of the additional revenue that you have fight for the counties. I commit from my part that will be prudent to ensure that we tighten the caps that are there, even from what we have seen today, to ensure there is prudent use of those resources. And lastly, Chair, I did not attend the last committee, not because I didn't want to, but I was sick, Chair. I actually fell down after a ward visit, and on my way I had problems. And Chair, I commit that I'm a very faithful person who attends to your committee each time you need me. Even if it is tomorrow, we commit that we will always present ourselves, because this is a continuous responsibility that ought to be undertaken. Thank you so much, committee, for giving us your time.
Thank you, Governor. Majority Leader.
Maybe for the Majority Leader, Chair, my name has been mispronounced. It is Senator Mwaruma and the Committee of Education who went to Kericho. Senator Mwaruma, not Mwarume.
Yes, Senator Mwaruma, for avoidance of doubt. And you're supposed to be a linguist.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the people of Kericho, allow me to register our appreciation for listening to us today, while still pleading that you find time to perhaps complete this exercise because it's important for our people. My experience with doing this job, and I've done it for a while, Mr. Speaker, is that sometimes even when you try to beat down the county government too hard, especially as a leader, the understanding of the common person down in the village is that they refer to all of us as leadership. So much as I don't feel proud of some of the things that I've read in the report, we by and large carry the cross together as a leadership. Therefore, I'd be proposing to the governor, the team, this team is composed here of people that I know, most of them at a very personal level, that we need to have a conversation behind the tent. Some of the things that I would have said, even if I said them today here, it will be good for the baits and the cameras, but from experience, Chair, when I go back to the village, and we are in public sessions, when I say, you leaders, they don't know how to distinguish between a governor, MCA, senator, most of the time. And that's from a very personal experience. Therefore, Chair, given the state of the things as they are, I commit before the committee and to the people of Kericho that I will be reaching out for a behind-the-tent conversation. We need to talk as leaders and just have a practical, honest conversation on how we can do some of these things in a better way. So thank you, Chair. And we look forward to that meeting you proposed.
Thank you, Majority Leader. There's something I saw happening in Kericho, which I think some of us can copy. I saw the governor, senator, and other leaders in a conference.
Yes.
And I think that was a very, very good idea, which perhaps maybe even our secretariat can pick the concept so that all governors, all senators can do the same in their respective areas. And I believe in that meeting you also went through some of the reports of the Auditor General.
It's exactly what we did because these are figures that are there and you project and say this is what is being reported. What do we do so that we solve? Because it's a call of leadership at the end of the day. We can choose to politic with it or do the right thing, which is to say we are faced with a problem. Our on-source revenue in our markets is diminishing. Then the governor will say, okay, what do you want me to do? You guys are politicized a certain market. My people are chased away. And people now resort back and say, okay, we understand then. If we do that, these are the consequences. And I believe that is what objective oversight should be about.
Yeah. So that's something we will pick from Kericho. And we look forward to our next engagement. I'm happy that we have had a very civil meeting following that long break where we also, there was some public sparts between the governors and the senators. But we want to assure all governors that this committee will continue to be firm but fair. This committee will be guided by the Constitution and relevant statute, will not be guided by political considerations or personal likes or dislikes. And I hope that today's experience has been a demonstration that we remain focused to do the job that we are elected to do. We wish you well, and we will be requesting the Senator Majority Leader, if there's a report that came out of that meeting, please share it with us. And if the County Assembly has already processed this report, we'll also be asking them to share with us the report that they adopted to ensure that we don't come up with conflicting directives. Asanteni sana, we wish you a safe journey back home.
Thank you, Chair.